Hello, welcome back to the Nook. I'm Daniel, and today's video is going to be a review of this book here, The Iron Sceptre by John White, which is book 4 in the Archives of Anthropus. So I just reviewed book 3, The Tower of Gabura, and so this one, I'll just read to you the description before I just kind of get into the review. So it says, Anthropus is in danger. So Wesley, Kurt, and Lisa are once again magically transported from their home in Winnipeg to help save this threatened land. The Iron Sceptre, the source of King Cardia's power to rule, is in peril. The children, joined by their cousin Mary, are called on to stop Mirma and her chief sorcerer, Archimago. But to do so, they must travel beneath the northern mountains around Gold Coffin's palace and into the very heart of Mirma's kingdom. What awaits is much more than a mere adventure. So, as you could tell from that description, this book is about a quest where the kids have to protect this king with his scepter, and the scepter is in danger of being stolen. It's interesting because this book introduces a new character, Mary, who is the cousin of these kids that were in the Tower of Gabura and in this book. So Mary's an interesting character because she has been through a lot. Where she lived in Winnipeg in the real world, she is overweight. She's been bullied. She has a mother that abandoned her and a stepmother who is not good with her. And the stepmother has boyfriends. Some of those boyfriends abused Mary. It was a really rough situation. So this story follows a basic quest. There's this king who is in the third book, who continues in this book. He's a bit older. And the kids kind of go on this quest to help out this king. And it has to do with the scepter. And Mary, it's keeping it spoiler free. This is basically just part of the plot, is that she ends up with this sorceress with Mirma, and Mirma has a way of making Mary beautiful. She swallows a crystal, and the crystal changes her figure and her face and makes her beautiful. But of course, it's showing that this is a false beauty. And Mary does meet Gaul, the Christ figure, and Gaul kind of shows his love for her, and she has a love for Gaul, but it's like she has to choose between this sorceress and Gaul. And I'm just going to tell you a scene that happened, which I don't consider this a spoiler. This is just a powerful scene that happened between Gaul and Mary, and it's a pivotal moment in her relationship with Gaul, and I just wanted to share it. So Mary, she's been with the sorceress. She's basically betraying the quest, and Gaul has this meeting with her, and Gaul essentially, it's come down to a decision where she has to decide between Gaul and Mirma, this sorceress. And Gaul basically does this thing where he takes a sword and he stabs himself in the ankle, and this blood wells up, and he puts the blood on his hand. And he says to Mary, kick off your shoe. And Mary kicks off her shoe, and he puts blood on her right big toe, on her right thumb, and her right earlobe. And when I read this, I thought this was interesting because I read the Bible, and in the Old Testament, the sacrifices that were being made, the blood from the sacrifice would be put on the right big toe, the right thumb, and the right earlobe of the priests. And what happens is when Gaul does this to Mary, he says, now you are mine, now you belong to me. And it's like in the Christian faith, the blood of Christ covers the sin, the blood of Christ redeems us. And I found that was an interesting thing that John White did in this story, was showing how Gaul uses his blood to claim Mary as his own. And what happens, what's beautiful, is that Mary, of course, she has this, the witch has this way of making her beautiful, but Gaul says to her, because they have this moment where they dance joyfully, and there's just so much joy and love in Mary right now. And Gaul says to her, do you want to see my beauty in you, my true beauty? And she looks in this reflection and she sees that her face is beautiful with joy, and it's just the joy of this man, this savior. And I thought it was a very beautiful picture of true joy and true beauty. So I thought that was very cool. So how do I feel about this story compared to the first three? Well, just like with Tower of Gabura, I like this even more than the other ones. I felt like the quest was very good. I felt like there was a lot going on. It just expands the world even more. You get to see more of Anthropus. You get to see more of, there's this whole thing with a boat. So there's sort of a ship journey. There's a lot of ice and snow settings, because often in Anthropus we've seen it's more summery. So honestly, it's a really good book. And I liked the quest. And this involves, like I said, the King Cardia, who was originally in the Tower of Gabura. But it's interesting because years have gone by. When the kids were in Anthropus, the king was young, and now in this book, the king's older. So it's been, I don't know how many years since the kids were there, whereas when they got back to their world, it was like the instant they left, which is kind of something that happens in Narnia. In Narnia, you find that many, many years have gone by before the kids. It's only been like 2 years. So I think that was kind of an inspiration based on Narnia. So, I mean, that's about all I can say about it, spoiler free. I recommend it. If you liked the first three, you'll like this one a lot. And I'm continuing with the series. I'm already almost halfway through book 5, and then there's just book 6 to go. Just to let you know, I will not be reviewing book 5 next week. It'll actually be a review for a classic I just finished. So you will find out what that classic is. It's a massive book. It's probably going to be a longer review than most. But yeah, you'll hear about that next week. And yeah, just remember to like and subscribe. Remember, you're always welcome at the Nook. Bye.